I didn't know, and I remember when we would have like different functions, it would be hard for me because I'd never been in that situation. I never wanted to be a first lady. I just want to be Dorian, regular Dorian. And I would see certain people like, throwing themselves and people do. I'm like, why don't you go out with them? Why don't you just go and date them? But it was hard for me because I've been like, after I became, first lady and still Dorian, still the same person. But I would be, like, people would do so much stuff, like curse me, try to fight me, try to do all this stuff right in the church, and I'm like, it was uncomfortable. So I remember I just wanted to leave. I just told him I could go to another church, but just to say all that is like, you never know who God is going to place in your life. You just have to be obedient to God and just, continue on that journey. Like he said, don't focus on who, and oh, he's tall, he must be the one, oh, he's handsome, muscular. Don't look at the outside, because you don't know what's going on up in here, So, but seeing him and dating him and seeing him going through these painful moments, like we was dating, but at the same time, I was like a therapist to him because I was listening. He was crying, bawling, and I listened to him. I don't say, well, oh, she's, no, that's his wife. It's not like they got divorced. She actually passed from a sickness. And so I was very understanding. And but he went through so much. I mean, I see him crying, like bawling, couldn't even drive at moments. Even after we got married, he was still going through it. And so we have to be sensitive to one another and also know who you're getting with in relationships. Are they sensitive to you and what you're going through and will go through? So when you're, talking to someone, collecting data on the person, there's a lot of things that go along with that you have to ask questions as well, But, it's just a long journey. But the way how we met was actually, I was in a coma for 3 months, and I had amnesia after the coma, 2 years amnesia. So I was looking for the church that me and my kids used to go to, and they didn't remember because they were so young. So I just decided, okay, well, every Sunday I'm just going to stop at any church, and I went to Catholic, Baptist, Adventist, Muslim, all kinds of church, and I'm like, this don't feel right. These are not the church. People want you to wear all white and all this stuff. I'm learning karate and all kinds of different stuff. Walk in this church and they're doing communion and everybody drinking from the same cup, and I'm like, what? But yeah, it's just a lot. But I learned a lot on my journey to find the church. 4 years after looking, I passed by this little church, and I remember flying past because the sign was so small. And I turned around and I said, okay, let me go there. But my kids this Sunday didn't come with me because they were tired. They're like, Mom, I'm tired. We've gone to all kind of crazy churches. I'm not going to go to another one. So I just told them to sleep in. And I drove in the churchyard, and Mr. Sonny was at the door, and he was like, I haven't seen you in such a long time. Where have you been? And I had to explain to him that I had amnesia, that I didn't remember him when I came in. And the church didn't look the same. I didn't remember anything, but my memories started coming back, and I remember it was only like 20 people or less in here, all white people on one side, all black people was on one side. And they never had no black pastors, so I didn't understand, is this the church, Lord? But I stayed, and my memories started coming back to the church, and so, and I met Precious. She was awesome, so like I used to go talk to her after church, and I told her my story, and she would be like, you need to tell your story, you have a story. I said, no, you got a story too, you need to tell. But she asked me, she said, you need to put this in a book, and you need to tell people and share with them your story, and it's gonna, change a lot of people could relate to you, and that's what I did. But on my journey to knowing him and seeing him so emotional, I grew up with my 7 brothers. You're not supposed to cry, you're not supposed to show emotions, especially as men, and I never used to like to show emotions either. So I've been through so much, and so on our journey to heal, we was healing together. I mean, driving on PCH, she told me, because I heard him scream like he was going through his own, thing with losing his wife. and I heard him just scream. You know how you like to scream on Sunday sometime at night? Ah! But I wasn't used to screaming, and he said, "Just I want you to scream." And I said, "No, I'm not going to scream in front of you. Why? I'm dating you. Why am I going to scream?" I said, "I'm going to look crazy." And he just told me, "Just scream," and I let out one screaming, and I started showing emotions in front, because I didn't like showing emotions in front of a man, because I didn't want them to feel like I'm weak myself, and that you think you hurted me, and that. So I wait until they leave, and then I would cry. But he had taught me so much on our journey that I could be vulnerable, I could, show emotions, and see him showing emotion as a man, like that's very powerful. And so it just made me be closer to him.